Okay, so I'm not sure what happened last week with my last video, so I'm going to do a new one since unfortunately school's closed again, so I can't get my laptop that I have at school that the other video was on. So this week I chose to look at one of my lessons that I did in my Integrated Math 9 class. If my lesson seems like we do a lot, it's because in my building we run block scheduling, so our classes are 90 minutes. So to break this up a little bit for all the students, I tend to do like 15-20 minutes of notes, and then we'll do some type of activity, and then at the end of class students get time to participate, start to do their homework. In my class, the class consists of many ELL students in which their levels range from level 2, which is beginning, to level 6, which is region. None of my students are at the level 1 stage. They've all been here for at least a year or two. This week we were beginning to learn about comparing and ordering numbers. So to begin every lesson, I teach the students the key terms using PowerPoints. In my PowerPoints, I use small phrases. I don't use big paragraphs or stuff like that. And as I do examples, I use key phrases that students, especially my ELL students, can refer back to as they take assessments. To begin the lesson, I taught them the key words of greater than, less than, and equal to. I also taught them what it meant to order from least to greatest and greatest to least. So for the most part, many of the students understood this, but the area where many of the students struggle with is recognizing the correct symbol for these, less than, greater than, or equal to. Equal to are usually pretty good with. So to help students with this and to give them a guide as they work through stuff, I gave them they created a foldable for each of the symbols. For the foldable, it was cut into three, it was folded into hot dog style and then broken into three, one for each symbol. For it on the front, they would write the symbol. Inside, they would put the meaning and example for each. After we've completed the foldable, the students were broken into 6 groups. Groups 1 through 3 would complete the first activity, which I'll refer to as Activity A, and groups 4 through 6 would complete Activity B. In Activity A, students were working in their small groups. There, they had to work together and discuss the list of numbers that I gave them and order them from least to greatest. Students were supposed to, as they were going, they were supposed to discuss the correct response before gluing their answers to the answer sheet. In Activity B, the group was broken into partners. Within each pair, they would each receive a deck of cards with real numbers. The students would shuffle the cards, deal them evenly among each other, and then what they would do is they would play war. So they would flip over their top card, and they would discuss which symbol fits the comparison between partner 1 and partner 2. So they would decide, is it less than, greater than, or equal to? They would then record their response on a sheet, and they would decide who would win. So the one who had the greater number would win. At the end of the lesson, students will do a ticket out the door that uses both of these, and then they will also have time to complete their homework. So in my lesson, it consists of both the receptive language functions. Students use listening to learn the new key terms. They also use listening to follow directions for each activity. They must also listen to their group members or partners' discussion about the correct response to the problem. The students were also required to read the notes that were provided to them, as well as the written directions for each activity. Throughout my lesson, students use the productive language of speaking. I use a lot of speaking in this classroom because usually ELL students pick on the speaking part of the language first before the reading and the writing. So I incorporate that a lot. So throughout the activity, students discuss their solutions with their group or partner. Students discussing the new topic helps them build a better understanding of the new material. Also, through discussion, students are still able to communicate with, since a lot of my students are bilingual or still developing the language, they are able to discuss material in their native language. In my lesson, I only used writing when I had the students copy the notes and complete the foldable, in which they were, when they created the foldable, they were required to write the meaning of the term, greater than, less than, or equal to. So in my lesson, in the listening area, students need to be proficient as a level 1, a level 2, a level 3, and a level 4 in different parts of the activities. For the reading portion of it, students would only need to be required to be a level 1, a level 2, or a level 3. For speaking, the planned activities required students to be a level 4 and a level 5, for the most part, only because we're discussing stuff. I could also say, they can probably also be a level 3 for that. Finally, for writing, students' proficient level can be in either level 1 or level 2. It's just basic phrases, small portions of stuff with pictures or examples to go along with them. So typically, most of my lessons consisted of activities like this. I try to incorporate the different levels of proficiency throughout it, since I do have a wide range of students. I also include all different types of language functions so students can increase not only in their ELL class but also in math class.